Chapter 1045. Wilbur started to slash toward Debbie at the same time. Debbie was taken aback. She gripped the death scythe and fought intensely against Wilbur. Their roaring attacks made their figures blurred. The cooks could only hear explosions and see dissipating spiritual energy. Wilbur finally stood still after using dragon power. He stopped backing away. He was originally equivalent to a beginner sanctuary level cultivator. His powers improved to an intermediate sanctuary level cultivator, nearing peak sanctuary level, after using the dragon power. However, he was only tied with Debbie. Debbie was weirded out because she could not defeat Wilbur. It was then that she noticed the improvement in his power. "You're remarkable, dude. I can't believe you're so powerful when your spiritual energy is depleted. I almost don't want to kill you." Debbie said that, but she did not stop attacking him. She attacked aggressively. He death side spun in her hand, and she quickly moved around Wilbur. Each attack she made was fatal. Her opponent would be badly injured with a ferocious weapon like that. However, the historical halberd was no ordinary weapon. It was especially suitable against a huge weapon like the death scythe. The historical halberd moved all around and blocked the attacks from Debbie, and Wilbur also fought back with attacks. The godly training form was unpredictable, so it made Debbie panic. Their battle did not seem astounding, but each attack was fatal and dangerous. Debbie was very surprised to discover she could not kill Wilbur. She finally looked angry. She shouted and spun her death scythe around, slashing toward Wilbur with the power of a storm. Wilbur also shouted and raised his historical halberd. An explosion instantly caused spiritual energy to dissipate everywhere. Tornadoes appeared in the hall. Debbie seized the opportunity to back away. She regained her balance 10 meters away from him. She licked her lips and looked at Wilbur maniacally. A huge dent with a 10-meter radius was beneath Wilbur. He stood at the center of the dent as he looked coldly at Debbie. A black crack suddenly appeared in the hall. Debbie noticed it and laughed maniacally. She leaped and sprinted towards the exit. Wilbur quickly yelled, "Run! This place is about to crumble." The cooks immediately crawled up and sprinted towards the exit. Wilbur led the way, and they ran out of the palace. The palace must be built by the cook ancestor's spirit energy. He was gone, so the fall of the palace was expected. He also reminded them to leave before he vanished. They sprinted out of the palace. They were several hundred meters away from the palace. They looked back and saw a black space rift where the palace crumbled. It gradually faded. Suddenly, Debbie stood in front of them with maniacal laughter. The sunlight elongated her shadow. Wilbur turned to look at Debbie with the historical halberd in front of his chest. Suddenly, Wilbur was stunned. He was standing in Debbie's shadow, and he realized he could not move. "Shadow domain." Debbie shouted maniacally. Then she leaped to the sky. Her death scythe spun around and slashed toward his neck.